Good evening, everybody. Welcome to another episode of Phil John's VIP on a Wednesday night. Thank you for hanging in there with me thus far. Man, this is going to be episode, I believe, 9. 9 episodes of the Phil John VIP. And, I thank for those who've supported me thus far, for those who've tuned in, for those who've shared. I really appreciate it. Next Wednesday will be my last show for the season. I am going on a well-needed break. But I am looking forward to hopefully coming back again in the fall with you guys. So tune in next Wednesday night. That will be my kind of what you would call my season finale. And wow, I'm ecstatic because when I had this idea to do this, I wasn't really sure how people were going to take it. I wasn't too sure how it was going to be received. And anyone who knows me knows that one thing I love to do is to uplift and celebrate people and to have the opportunity to be intentional in what I do and to put into the universe the things that I love to do. Uh, and for you guys to really just embrace it the way you have and just all the encouragement, all the phone calls, the text messages, the DMs. I truly do appreciate it. Tonight, however, I'm bringing on my brother, Michael Kennedy. Yes, I am your voiceover, and he truly is. This is my voiceover guru, my go-to for all things voiceovers. This guy has been really just the consummate professional in the game when it comes to voiceovers. He is signed with William and Morris Talent. He's done work for Ford Motors. He's done Nickelodeon. He's done, I mean, you'll hear when he comes on. And where is he? Is he here? He's here. So I want you guys to check out Michael Kennedy is the man to know. If you don't know him, time to get to know him. So I just want to bring him on because he is dude. And I'm going to tell him before he come on, behave. Behave, Mike. Seriously, this is rated PG. And there you go. I just said it's PG.
Bruh.
You already gave me an R rating.
I'll turn the label out.
What up, Tough? Tough. Thank you, brother. I appreciate you. Thank you for joining. Ashima Kelly, thank you. Thank you for joining. I appreciate you.
Good evening. What's up, man?
Mike Kennedy, bro. What's going on, man?
What is happening?
It's good to see you.
You too, brother. How you been?
It's so funny. I'm glad that you said you would do this. You and I talk all the time, so a lot of our conversation will be repetitive.
I know. That's all right.
But
they don't know me.
They don't know
I'm
you.
fine, kind of.
But I think you're an important guy to get to know because you really kind of consume the whole what it is to be a voiceover artist and voiceover actor. And you have done so much in commercially, in animation, and you are your own entrepreneur as far as you've created this as a business and as a livelihood for yourself. So tell us more about like what it was for you that this particular genre stood out and said, this is what I want to do. This is my path.
Actually, I kind of just fell into it and I got bit by the bug essentially. So I had a performing arts background growing up. I was a singer. I was in theater. I was a DJ for the college radio station. I had a lot of like the fundamentals of voiceover work, but never had done any voiceover work specifically until I worked in advertising. And I had a client who she just loved my voice, and I just took it as a compliment and didn't really think much of it until she called me one day and said, "Hey, the campaign that we're working on for the new product launch?" I said, "Yeah, I've been working on it for the last couple of weeks." And she goes, "Well, I want you to do the voiceover for it." And I was like, "I don't know what you want me to do." So she's like, "Well, come into the studio on over the weekend." This was in New York. We'll give you the 2 scripts and I'll pay you on the spot and you leave. And I said, okay. And I did the spots. They were very happy. I got paid and I was like, this is fun. So I was working in advertising, going to school for my master's, and then taking voiceover classes, on the weekends, twice a week, every week for 7, 8 months. And then I put my first demos together. But I remember like day one, I definitely went in way too cocky.
Yeah.
Because I was just like, I just did regional commercial spots. I was like, I can do this, no problem. And I went in there, and the coach, who was very, very dry, was like, all right. It's like, I'm going to get along great. He gives me some copy, and I go into the booth, and I do my reads. And I feel good. And he's like, all right, that was effing awful. Let's start over. I was like, all right. Knocked me down a few pegs. So then I studied with him So I studied with him for months and months. And then I put my first demos together. And looking back, I'm like, who even hired me? Just because I've been doing this for 11 years now. I still had a very thick New York accent. Right? I mean, like one of the first spots on my commercial demo, I said, get your vitamin C with Hall's Defense. Not Halls, but Halls. And it's fine if you're pitching just New York, but nationally, you can't say Halls. So I've worked very hard to control the New York sound and sound more universal across the board. So now nobody knows where I'm from.
Yeah.
So then from there, I had done my first commercial demo and my first narration demo. And then I just kind of took my cold calling experience working in advertising and translated that into building my voiceover business. To age ourselves, I had the yellow pages, the physical yellow pages that they used to leave on our doorstep when we were kids. Right?
That's a throwback.
Yeah, it's a throwback. There was no Yelp. Yeah. The yellow pages. So I took open the yellow pages and immediately flipped to the law firm section. That's the most popular spot in the yellow pages. There's always advertising, always law firms advertising in yellow pages. I would call them and say, hey, are you doing commercials? I would just cold call them like, hey, who handles the TV commercials for you guys? And that's how I got on the ground floor doing just local stuff. I was just pounding local businesses, whoever would.
I think that's good to know, because a lot of people feel like things are just supposed to come to them.
Mm-mm.
You know what I mean? You have a lot of people who do voiceover, and it's kind of like, I want to do, and I get those kind of calls a lot from people, and it's like, well, you know what, I'm retired, and I really want to just do voiceovers, and it's just like, well,
all right, well, just like anything else,
get
educated on it and go out and do it. Well, if you want to be an accountant, you still have to apply to be an accountant somewhere.
What do you think your biggest challenge has been in getting in and breaking in?
It's just so competitive.
Yeah.
It's almost like the best kept secret that's let out of the bag now.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Because our industry has been brought to so much more light. So now everybody who thinks they have a good voice can be a voice actor, and that's just not true.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, I see some friends of mine in here who are voiceover people, and they're incredibly talented. I see my buddy Dustin in here. Dustin is incredibly talented as a voice actor. Right? And I have friends of mine who have very pretty voices. Doesn't mean they can do what we do. Our job is to not put a cool voice to a project, right? To just sound like a really cool guy. Like
I learned
my job is to understand what a client's project is, what they're trying to achieve with that project, and then help them do that using my voice. That's my job. Yeah. I'm not going to use the same voice on a Ford commercial that I would for a Nickelodeon promo, that I would for a Subaru commercial, that I would for a Mountain Dew commercial. Completely different specs, completely different audience, right? What have you. But yeah, my biggest.
Dustin said thanks for the kind words.
Yeah, Dustin, love you, buddy. Yeah, Dustin's incredibly talented. Yeah, so I just think it's incredibly competitive because now everybody's like getting in there, which is fine because there's so much work out there that people don't even realize.
But the reality is, and I feel like I've known this for a while. If you've been an actor and you've kind of like kind of played the field with commercials, then voiceovers and theater and television, film, and experimental theater and all the stuff that comes along with it. Everyone will tell you that the voiceover community is a very small community, and that they recycle a lot of the same actors for the different projects.
Yeah, yes and no, but is it small to a degree? Yes. When people think of voiceover world, they think of the more glamorous stuff. Commercials, TV promo, animation, movie trailer, all the projects that you and I, the American consumer, sees on TV, hears on the radio. In reality, the majority of the voiceover work that's out there is non-broadcast work. Yes, I've done a lot of commercials, and yes, I've done a lot of promo work.
So you're saying like training videos?
Yeah, I've done like I have as much as I've done in the broadcast space. I have carved out a niche of just software clients. That's a big vertical for me. Software explainer videos and tutorials and product videos. I do a ton of that, especially during when COVID first came about and commercial bookings just dropped because nobody was going out to stores or anything. My non-broadcast work skyrocketed because people were still absorbing content and still making purchases. But all that non-broadcast work just skyrocketed. I was doing constant explainer videos and product videos. The less glamorous stuff, but it's still.
But that's where the industry kind of shifted, because a lot of people were working from home.
Yeah.
A lot of people still had to go to training.
Yeah.
So we were at home. So I can see how that could happen.
Yeah. So, yeah, there's just so much work out there that people don't even realize, because we just go about our day. I mean, I've done everything from.
I think the first thing that people think of when they think of voiceovers is animation. I think that's.
Yeah, that and commercials, but like my friend Amy Breedlove, she lives in Ocala, Florida, like the middle of nowhere, north of Orlando. She's the voice of the self-checkout machine at Target. Who thinks of that?
Right, exactly.
Like there's people that I've done.
Chillin' Dot, thank you. She said diversified portfolio.
Yeah.
He does. It is that.
I've done endless phone systems. Thank you for calling company ABC. Press 1 to speak to sales. But again, there's somebody behind that.
Yeah.
that they hired. Yes, sometimes it's the HR lady that does it.
Right.
But that's actually a way that I got. Yeah, that's actually a way that I got myself into a production company. I had called. I was visiting family in Jacksonville. And I was like, well, I'm here and I've got, my stuff. Like, let me just hit up all these production companies in Jacksonville while I'm here and see I can build my network. And there's one company, AWV Production. I'm name dropping, whatever. It's just a great story. He was very dismissive. He was like, I got voiceover. He goes, I have a roster of go-to guys. You can send me your stuff if you want, but thanks for calling. And I said, okay, no problem. But you have to provide value more than just your voice, right? It's almost kind of seen as a commodity, like, oh, anybody can do voiceover. Not true, but there's still plenty of people in the world that don't see the value in what we do. Unfortunately, it is what it is. I don't want to work with those people anyway because they're going to try to be cheap. Now, this guy, right? I went on his website and looked at some of the stuff that he had done. But the first thing I noticed when I called was that their phone system was kind of So, I went on his website, I read, the company mission statement, the About Us section. And I just wrote, a quick little script, a phone system script. And I hopped in the booth, and I just recorded it, edited it. So I wrote to him, I said, hey, whatever, John, let's go with John. Hey, John, thanks for taking my call earlier and helping me understand, the voiceover needs for, XYZ production company. Please feel free to check out my attached reels. Also, I hope it's okay, but I took the liberty of recording a new phone system for you. As I saw, as I heard your previous one is a little lackluster. Feel free to use it if you'd like. My gift to you, so you have more of a tangible reference of something that relates to your company.
That was.
Thank you. 10 minutes later. When did you record this? Can I use this? I'm like, yeah, there you go. And just out of that, he was like, I've got a couple commercials coming up. And in my head, I'm thinking, what about that roster of people you had?
Right.
And I ended up doing 3 commercials for him.
Because they
like a couple days later.
Really never really know what they want anyway. They
No.
don't know what they want until they either hear it or see it.
Right. So that worked out there.
What has been your biggest disappointment? Have you ever wanted something and just been like, damn, I should have gotten that? Or
I used to. I mean, I'm just very competitive by nature.
Mm-hmm.
I don't. When I first got into it and started booking more and more, I'd be like, damn, I wish I had that. But I've been fortunate enough to where I do this full time. I don't get disappointed anymore, because oftentimes when I hear spots that I auditioned for and that I didn't book, and I listen to what did get booked, it's either something I didn't think of or something completely different than what I had auditioned for.
Yeah.
They might have heard an audition of 10 people that they had shortlisted from the hundreds of us that had auditioned, and then go, okay, let's give it a different read, and then ended up using that different read.
Mm-hmm.
And it sounds completely different than what I had done. So I can't get disappointed on something I had no idea of, what it was to begin with. So, I take it all as a learning lesson. I have to watch TV. I have to know what the market calls for.
Yeah.
Right? And I like seeing stuff that I didn't book, because it just kind of fuels me more to go out and now if I can't book that, I'm going after your competitor.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. I was doing the Buick commercial. I was doing Buick for 1.5 years. Yeah. And the moment they brought on a new marketing person and fired me and brought on a woman to do the marketing spots, I was like, well, I'm going back to the wishing well. I'm calling every other car manufacturer. And then I got in touch with the guy that handled Subaru and the guy that handled Nissan. And they both were like, do you have a non-compete? I was like, nope. Subaru guy, snap me up. I was like, hey, thank you. And I've done almost 200.
Wait, Subaru exclusively?
So in the Southwest.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah. So I'm the voice for Subaru in Texas and Oklahoma.
Got you.
So, and I've done almost 200 spots for them. So I have nothing to be upset about, right? I was a voice of Buick in Texas for almost 2 years. And I had done 80 commercials, for them. Subaru, it's been not even 2 years, and I've done almost 200. So
what about the animation over at Nickelodeon? What was that entering that?
That was promo work. Promo is very different than commercial. To the consumer, it looks like a commercial sometimes, because it's new season of Law and Order Sunday night at 10. But in the case of promo, it's a lot more about timing, right? When I'm looking at a commercial script, it's written for 15 seconds, 30 seconds, right? And it's written strategically in that way to where it's supposed to fit in that time frame, that window. Sometimes you have people that are like, oh yeah, it's a 300-word script and it's going to fit within 15 seconds. No, it's not. No, it's not. I had a client say that to me a couple months ago. It said, yeah, it's only a 2-minute video, and it was 600 words. No, it's not. And he was fighting me on it. I said, okay, I'm going to record it the way that you want it.
Yeah.
If you think 600 words can fit in 2 minutes, I'll do it. But it's going to sound like Mickey Mouse on acid. And then I'm going to record it the way it should be read, and you tell me which one you like.
They don't know what they want, man.
Right.
None of them ever do.
So with Nickelodeon or any other promo, right, you have to fit the words in between these little sound bites. They're called SOTs, sound on tape, right? So you only have these short little windows in between those sound bites to fit your phrasing in there. Because you'll be on, it's called Source Connect, right, which is like Skype for your recording software. So I'll have my headphones on. The producer could be in LA, the client could be in New York, I could be here in Miami, and then you hear beep, 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 and then on the fourth beep, imaginary fourth beep, I go. It's like, all right, you have to be on point, because if you don't know your timing, you're off completely. Because you are the last piece of that puzzle. Once they drop you in, they're going right to post and getting on air. Like,
Yeah.
So yeah.
I think one of the things I learned from you that you told me before is that, you know, it's okay to be as animated as you want to be when you're in the booth.
I can be whoever the heck I want to be.
Right. Because, you know, you can use your physical body to get the sound that you want out.
Right. I have to do everything that you have to do on stage, but you're only using my voice.
Yeah.
Like, if I have to be somber or aggravated, you can show those emotions in your face, in your body language. You know, you can physically show that. I have to show that only using this.
Yeah.
You can't. I can be making those faces, but if it doesn't come across in my voice, you have no idea what I'm just doing. I just might look like Eeyore, but
Right.
if I don't sound like Eeyore, then you have no idea what I'm trying to do. That's why I say my job isn't to put a cool voice to the project. My job is to truly understand what the specs are. That's why everybody's like, "Oh, I have a good voice. I just do voiceover." I'm like, yeah, but can you act though?
Yeah.
Right? Like some time back, I got booked to dub over an actor who was being burned alive, and I purposely went into the studio wearing raggedy clothes.
Right.
Right? You can't dub over a movie and go, "Oh, it hurts. Oh, burn." Like, no. Like, I have a lower register in my normal speaking voice.
Right.
There were notes that came out of me that
I
didn't know were there.
Yeah.
But at the end of it, like, my shirt was ripped. Like, it was hanging off of me because I was deep in it, ripping at me as if I was being burned alive.
Right. Absolutely.
So
it's there. I think I was one of those actors who made the mistake of actually thinking that I could just go in and do a voiceover. My situation is a little different though, because I was pretty desperate for work. So I was like, this can't be easy. It kind of reminds me of the time that I took a music theory class for summer, thinking it was an easy A. And I ended up needing a 2.
music theory is the bane of existence. That's why I laugh when people are like, "Oh, you're a music major? What are you going to do with that?" I'm like, go watch the movie Whiplash.
Wait, I needed to, boost my GPA. So I said, I'll take this musical theory class. When I got in that class, man.
No.
Whoa,
My 4 years of college were like the movie Whiplash.
Yeah. Same thing I thought with voiceovers until I actually got behind the booth and chilling that. I know the class is hard. Someone said, "Yeah, the class is hard."
Yeah, pass.
Until I got
like Nick Cannon in Drumline.
You said what?
I said I felt like Nick Cannon in Drumline. Oh.
Yeah. That was a good movie, by the way. But
movie.
But yeah, so I realized that it's not for the weak.
No.
And
but it's fun.
Yeah.
I don't have to wear pants. That's a great one.
And what I'm so surprised is that there are so many people who may not see on television anymore, who are now doing nothing but voiceovers.
Well, yeah. I think that's probably, I mean, there's many things that I love about voiceover work. But my favorite thing is that we're almost like an enigma. Like, there are people that have big followings as voiceover people just because they're stupidly talented.
Yeah.
Right? And then they get invited to be on Comic-Con and like have these huge followings because they were in like a video game series or anime or whatever. I love that. But then there's like people that have these incredible resumes in voiceover world, and you have no idea who they are, and you have no idea what they look like. Like Frank Welker is hands down one of the most well-respected voiceovers in the animation scene.
Right.
Frank is a very private guy. Like, Bob Bergen is another one of these voiceover icons. In this industry, right? He's like the voice of Tweety Bird and all that jazz, right? But like I'm looking at like yeah, I'm looking at like Frank's like stuff. Like, yeah, he does. Yeah, he was a stand-up comedian. He was like, you know, he was the original voice of Scooby Doo back in the day in the
Mm.
'60s. Like, he's just got a resume a mile long. But he's a very private guy, and like, unless you know Frank Welker's work, you don't really know that he exists. Um, like one of my favorite pictures, I tell the story constantly. There's a gentleman named Bill Farmer, and Bill Farmer is from Emporia, Kansas. He looks like everybody's grandpa. Like,
I remember seeing a picture of him.
huh?
I remember seeing a picture of him.
Right.
When yeah.
So he just looks like everybody's grandpa from the middle of America. And there's a picture of him, his grandkids standing with Goofy at Disney. And to the naked eye, it just looks like a grandpa and his grandkids and Goofy at Disney. Well, Bill Farmer has been the voice of Goofy for 35 years. Do you think that whoever was dressed up in the Goofy costume had any idea he's standing next to the actual fucking Goofy? Like, that's just amazing. Right. Or like, when I go, when I go to like conventions or stuff like that, and I have dinner with some friends of mine that just have these incredible impressive resumes, like, what if these people know, like, who they're in the presence of? Yeah. Like, because
for years we didn't know that Cree Summer was the voice of Penny from Inspector Gadget. Not until she got notoriety, like, as an on-camera talent.
Right. And she's just a badass woman, period.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think my favorite thing, with the fact that like nobody knows who we are. Mm-hmm. No one also cares like what we look like, right?
Yeah.
Like for on camera and on stage, yes, you have talent. Absolutely has to be there, of course. But there's a prejudice, to a varying degree, whoever you speak to, of what people look like, how pretty you are, how skinny you are. Do you have blonde hair, blue eyes, and weigh 110 pounds? Do you have a good jawline and a six-pack, right? John Hamm is a very good-looking guy. Of course, who else is going to play Don Draper? My fat ass is going to play Don Draper, right? But in voiceover world, no one cares if you're skinny, fat, gay, straight, white, black, yellow, brown, pink hair, no hair.
No.
Nobody cares. It's like, can you deliver? For 2 years, my viewing people thought I was a middle-aged white guy. Look at me. They were like, we thought you were 45 and white. I was like, haha, surprise, motherfucker. Like,
yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, they were like, can you deliver? Like, I was selling cars in Texas. Like, I'm a New Yorker.
Yeah.
That's probably my favorite thing is that nobody cares what you look like. It's just, can you deliver?
Right.
What I'm asking.
You can go to work in your pajamas. Nobody.
Yeah. I mean, there's a gentleman who passed away last year, incredibly talented voice actor named Brad Venable. Brad was like 500 pounds, like.
Yeah.
And that's not a knock on him. It's just like there's no mold for what you have to look like in voiceover world.
And I didn't know that he continues to do voiceovers.
Yeah, and like, and then you have like some of these actors who are incredibly talented, but they just gotta just stick in one lane, and like they do nothing else, right? You're just like the token guy, like you're just the villain in every movie, right? You're the best friend that the girl will never like. Right. You're the token black guy in the movie. Whatever.
A lot of actors are scared to move because they figure like no one will ever see them as anything else. So it's feel like they don't want to stop the check.
Mm-hmm. I don't have to worry about that.
Exactly. That's the beauty behind you doing voice work.
Right.
You know what I mean?
But again, there's so much work out there because there's just stuff that people don't even think about. And like even I'm amazed at like some of the random, like Amy doing the Target checkout. Who thinks of that? Like,
yeah.
Friends of mine that do the voice of like.
It's to do it so well till you think that it's an automated kind of like.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I've got friends of mine that are like the voice of toys in the store. You're like, Like, you know, somebody actually went into a booth and recorded the voice of the toy. Like, you know, like in New York, there's a studio called Flavor Lab on 27th and Park. And the guy that owns the studio, Glenn Slosh, is an incredibly talented musician in his own way. He's a musician and a composer. He's very talented. His wife's a voice actor. She's the voice of Snuggles, the downy teddy bear. Yeah, his wife Elena is the voice of the downy.
Who would have thought?
What? Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You know, sometimes you get so caught up in the visual that you don't pay attention
Right.
to the voice.
Yeah, like I still kind of geek out on stuff, right? Like, I have a friend of mine, Rick Sellers. He's in his 50s. He's a white guy. Lives in Cleveland, Ohio. Like, he just looks like a regular guy. But he was Optimus Prime on the cartoons for like 20 years. He's the voice of the General in the General Car Insurance.
That's crazy.
Right? Yeah. So like when Elliot was a baby, I had him record like a happy birthday and a Merry Christmas audio message as Optimus Prime. So I could play it for Elliot every single year. Like, it wasn't happy first birthday, it was just happy birthday Elliot and a whole bunch of like Optimus Prime-y words. And even I'm like, oh my God, it's Optimus Prime. Oh, it's just Rick.
So what advice would you give to people who are trying to pursue a career in the voiceover world?
Study, learn as much as you can. Like, push yourself. Like, just get comfortable with being uncomfortable.
Yeah.
Like, I'm very like, voiceover work is great for people who are introverted because it's just you and the microphone.
Yeah.
It's great for people who have that personality type. But you want to push yourself because you never know what else you can book. Right? Like, you have to let go.
Yeah.
Right? Like, this is a business, this is a craft. And just like anything else that you want to be good at, you have to practice, you have to study it. Nobody just became a good accountant overnight.
Right.
You know, they might have, innate math abilities, right? But at some point
I always say that people who love the craft love to study.
Yeah, you love the process.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, you love the process. You know, it's all part of it. Because what else you going to be doing?
Yeah.
Like, I don't like. You think I ever want to go back to like? No, I don't want to go back to what I was doing before. This is me.
No.
You know, so like I still practice because as successful as I have been, I cannot book again ever.
Yeah.
Tomorrow.
Yeah.
Right? I could not book. Subaru guy can call me and say we're done.
Yeah.
Right? My Mountain Dew guy can say we're done.
Right.
My software guys can say we're done. I cannot book tomorrow. So I have to stay on top of it. Right? But I also have to get comfortable with being uncomfortable. Like when I first wanted to get into promo, right? I wanted to do the more dramatic, dark reads, right? I wanted to use the gravitas that I have in my voice.
Yeah, yeah.
And I had the opportunity to work with some fantastic coaches. And that's another very important thing is that the negative side of voiceover is that because the cat is out of the bag, there's an increase in bullshit coaches who think like, give me $3,000 and we'll give you 10 lessons.
You can find them. They're all on Clubhouse. You can find them there. Trust me.
I know.
I had a conversation earlier.
My boy got taken for a ride. I was like,
what the fuck?
He called me. He's like, what do you think about this? I was like, don't do it.
Yeah.
He didn't listen to me.
It's insane.
Listen to me.
Usually, if it's too good to be true, it is.
Yeah, like these baloney coaches trying to sell you a one-size-fits-all package. Give me $3,000 and we'll do 20 classes. I'll put together a demo and we'll talk about marketing.
Yeah.
Run.
Full of shit.
As far as you can.
Yeah. It's not that easy.
You good coach.
You got to put in the work. And you know what? People respect it. I think one of the things that I did that took me out of my comfort zone was actually doing the show. Because I'm not one to really get on camera on social media. But, and I've said this throughout the time that I've been doing this, is that whatever I do has to be intentional. And one of the things I love to do is celebrate my peers.
Right.
So to be able to have a platform where I can talk to my peers, and the conversation that we would have privately, to have that publicly,
Right.
I thought would be a great idea to have.
Yeah.
So now you can stop asking me about voiceovers. You already met the man. Don't call me. I don't know. Call him. He's the
No,
man.
I love talking about it. Like, I'm always happy to pay it forward. Like, somebody gave me my shot. That's it. That's the other cool thing too. Like, I've referred jobs to friends, and friends have like referred jobs to me. Like, who does that? Right?
Yeah.
Like I had a friend of mine, Julie Slack, who's another incredibly talented actress. She had a client who was like looking for somebody that fit my background. I was the first person she thought of. She told the client, "I'm not the right for this, but I know Mike is."
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, you just gave me your paycheck.
Absolutely.
But yeah, you have to get comfortable with getting uncomfortable. Like,
Yeah.
and like you'll be like like I said, like when I first got into promo, I wanted to do the deeper shit, and I had a very well-respected coach, which again is paramount to have here in this industry. Do your homework and find a coach that has experience either as a voice actor, him or herself, or someone that's actually been in casting, right?
Yeah.
Jeff Howell is an incredible promo coach. He's not a voice actor, but he's done tens of thousands of castings, so he knows what he's talking about. And when I wanted to do promo stuff, he was like, "No." He goes, "You're a young guy. You're kind of a goof. You have a young kid. You should be focusing on kids promo stuff." So he was just like forced. He goes, "I want you to do stuff that you like, but I want you to get out of that comfort zone. You can't just talk about death and cars for like like your entire training." So he was just force feeding me Disney Plus, PBS Kids, Nickelodeon, like just all the kids stuff. At first I was like, "I don't wanna," but then like I got comfortable with being uncomfortable because it wasn't my normal thing. It wasn't what I wanted to do. But then I embraced the process and I put my trust in him because he's the coach. So then fast forward, right after I did my training, I put my demos together. And that's what I got with William Morris. And the first promo I booked was Nickelodeon. And he's the first person I called. My agent obviously knew.
Yeah.
But that's the first person I called. And I said, "Jeff, I booked my first promo." He's like, "Yeah? Who with?" And I was like, he's like, "I'm sorry, what?" I said, "Nickelodeon." He goes, "What?" I said, "Nickelodeon." He goes, "I'm waiting." I'm like, "For what?" He goes, "For me to tell you I told you so." I'm like, "You were fucking right." He goes, "That's why you paid me." I'm like, "I paid you a lot of money." But yeah, I got comfortable being uncomfortable. Like, I never thought I'd be doing kids promo work, not way down here. Like, yeah, I got uncomfortable with being and just kind of trusting the process, right? Like, I always go back to kind of comparing it to music, right? You have to know what your voice does, right? Just because you have a good voice, it doesn't mean anything.
Yeah.
You can have a beautiful baby grand piano sitting in your home. If you don't know how to play it, it's just a pretty instrument.
Right.
You can just hit middle C
It looks good. There's a lot of
right.
people with beautiful pianos in their house that just sit there.
You can just hit middle C and it might sound pretty, just like your regular voice sounds pretty.
Yeah.
And then you start learning for release and then more complicated stuff because you're testing your fingers and testing your memory and testing your tempo. And that's when you become a good piano player. Same thing with your voice. You have to know how to stretch it, how malleable and versatile it is, while still sounding authentic and not sounding like you're straining or like trying too hard. Yeah. And a good coach is going to do that.
Yeah, I agree. And acting as well, for on-camera stuff as well. Definitely. Yeah. Mike, I got my five questions for you. You ready?
Bring them on.
Okay. Tell me, what do you know now about this industry that you did not know coming in?
How much work there really is. I've said it 10 times already. There's so much work out there. So like, I'm not worried about all these newbies that want to come in and do it. What does worry me is that people that are like lowballing shit and devaluing what we do. That's what bothers me. Like, oh, I'll do it for $5. Well, you're a fucking idiot. Because you're not only devaluing what we do, but you're devaluing yourself just because you want to make $5.
Yeah,
If
absolutely.
you actually do your homework, that's not how we get paid. But to answer your question, it's how much work there really is out there.
Yeah. Second question. What advice would you give your 19-year-old self? And PG.
Don't listen to your mom.
We okay.
Sorry, mom.
Don't listen.
Don't listen to your mom.
Yeah.
Live for you. It's your life.
I agree.
Yeah.
I agree. And I think a lot of times your parents have a way of putting restraints on you because of fear. And you can't really grow in fear.
No, and like as a parent, you want what's best for your kid. You don't want to ever see your kid fail.
Yeah.
But at the same time, like there's that innate feeling like, no, I want them to do what I want to do.
Yeah.
Right? Like, no, that's not how it goes.
Yeah.
Like when I was a kid, I wanted to go to medical school. And when I told my mom I didn't want to go be a doctor anymore, it like broke her heart. And like up until the day she died, like she had no idea like what I do. I was like, I'm on TV.
I think a lot of times it's such a hard thing to process. Like they can't make sense of.
Yeah, like she thought it was a phase. I'm like, not a phase.
Yeah.
This is what I do.
So what feeds your spirit?
Oh, my son does. I'm a dad first.
Yeah.
I'm a dad before anything else. Like seeing like my 5-year-old go, that's daddy. I'm like, that's cool. Or like when like Rick recorded the Happy Birthday as Optimus Prime and watched my son go.
That's dope.
Dad.
You said he's 5 now?
He's 5, yeah.
Wow.
Kindergarten in the fall. Okay.
Kindergarten. So what do you want what do you want your legacy to be?
That I was a good dad and I had fun. That's it. That I had fun doing what I do and I'm a damn good father. That's it. Yeah.
I believe one of the things that helps you sustain in this crazy business that we're in is work-life balance. And I think that you got to know the difference between the two. I fear for people who consume themselves with just trying to win at every turn when it comes to just the business alone.
And that was definitely me. I think that's why I got divorced.
Yeah.
When I look, I mean, I've been divorced 3 years. And I let work consume my life. Like, it was always for the good of like my marriage and wanted to be the man of the house and the head of the house. But like, if you really look back, like I definitely let work consume me because I felt such pressure to be the man of the house and blah blah blah.
Yeah.
And that probably led to the downfall of my marriage. So. Yeah. And when that happened, I was like, never again do I want to like put too much on one side.
The lessons continue, man.
Lessons continue.
The lessons continue. So my last question: what do you?
That's the last one.
Yeah, this is the last question. This out of the 5. What are you grateful for?
My son. The opportunity to work every day.
Yeah.
I don't want to do anything else. Like, even if I don't book every day, I'm still auditioning every day.
Yeah.
Like, whether it's auditions I get from my agent or if it's like people that I cold call that are willing to give me a shot to audition for something or send in a sample of something, that's what I'm grateful for.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's it.
Well, Mike, thank you so much.
Sir, always a pleasure.
For coming on board and gracing us with the knowledge. I see all your people up here, they co-signing and giving you the thumbs up for everything that you're saying. And I just want, I want to say this because I appreciate you, Mike. I think you are, when I tell you, you are literally my voiceover guru, go-to. You know, if anything that I'm doing
Yeah.
voiceover related, I gotta run it past you,
Yeah.
because it's really not my strength. You know, even though I thought it was like really easy, and I guess it's the same way when people think that they can just like hop on the stage or just get in front of the camera and kind of make it work and make
Right.
it believable, and then you look at it like, yo, it's not that easy. Don't.
And like, there's still people who are like stupidly talented that have never taken like a voice lesson or an acting lesson like in their life,
Absolutely.
but they still at some point like pick up little pieces of training here and there. That like it's not like everybody goes
Well,
to high school, goes to Juilliard, and then wins Oscars.
I kind of compare it to like, you know, people who play, musicians who just play by ear, like they just have the gift, but there comes a point where you're gonna have to learn how to read music, right?
Right.
And that takes a level of study. So
There's a wonderful voiceover guy. His name is Gabe Kunda. This kid is dumb talented. He's got perfect pitch. He sings. He plays piano. But even somebody like him, who's on half the movie trailers, he still takes coaching. Oh, and he's 25. But he still takes coaching, right?
yeah.
You've got some of the greatest artists in their respective field that still study. Whether you're a fan of her music or not, you cannot deny Lady Gaga has one of the most amazing voices in all of music. She still has a voice coach. She's Lady Gaga.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter. She has a voice coach.
Like I said before, if you love the craft, you
Yeah.
study.
Mariah Carey has a voice coach.
Not only do you love the study, but you respect the study.
Right.
Of it.
J-Lo has a dance teacher.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So, yeah, just
you never stop being the best that you could be. I see you, Penoir.
Oh, Penoir's in here.
Penoir. We
What's
love
up, Mama?
Penoir. You know, yeah, you never stop
No.
being the best that you can be.
No, I'm always studying something. Even if it's like something little, right? Like I'll find stuff to like read.
Yeah.
Right? Like, especially like stuff that's in like my medicine cabinet. That's not easy to read.
I used to practice that. That was
like
I'll
read the side of the cereal box, whatever.
The back of the toothpaste, or like you
Yeah.
know, get the back of some type of you
or
know,
like
cereal box.
I'll DVR commercials,
box.
and I'll like I'll DVR commercials and see like how fast they can read the disclaimer.
Yeah.
They don't speed me up, so
yeah.
And it's just
you know what it did doing that, like you said, the reading it on the screen, like especially when they're like the words going up, it helps with teleprompter work. So if you know, teleprompter, air prompter, all that stuff, man.
Right.
So you know, you kind of got the bug when you start doing that as a kid. You start reading the size of the Applejack box.
So on TikTok they have these so my TikTok, like I'm a big car guy, right? Because I'm known for like car commercials. So I do a lot of car stuff, but I do a lot of voiceover stuff in there, and I throw in like teleprompter challenges, like the teleprompter duets. Mm-hmm. One, it's hard, and two, it's great practice for me.
Right.
Right. So another incredibly talented VO guy just popped in here. My boy Donovan. You want to talk about a guy who's a promo whiz? Donovan Courtneys.
Definitely.
Good buddy
Thank you for the flowers, Benoit. Listen, I'm gonna go because you know me and Michael get comfortable and we'll start talking about
different
things, man. And never get off live.
No, we'll talk till tomorrow.
So, but listen, if you want to talk after this, if you're not doing that, I'll hit you up later.
Yeah, hit me up. I'm here.
All right, brother. Thank you so much.
All right, man.
I appreciate you, and thank everybody for tuning in.
See you guys later.
Stop.
IamYourVoiceover.com.
Oh, IamYourVoiceover.com. Check out this brother.
I am your voiceover on Instagram. I am your voiceover on TikTok.
Not too comfortable. I'm usually on it. But yes, for those who would like to reach out, connect to, talk to, get advice from, IamYourVoiceover.com. I am your voiceover on Instagram. Hit him up.
Your voiceover on TikTok.
You know, this is the man to know. Trust me. Believe me. He's the one that will set you on the right path. Thanks again, Mike.
Always a pleasure, brother.
See you next week for the final show. Stay blessed, everybody.
Later.